Welcome back to a unique episode of the Racing Addicts podcast. Will actually be a two-parter today. We will have myself and Nolan at the beginning, and then Mitch will be joining also me from a different at a different time. So rain sucks, and that's kind of the overarching thought on everything this past weekend. So I'm joined now by Nolan. What's up, man?
Hey, everybody. Back in studio. Happy to be here.
Finally. I know. It feels like it's been an eternity since we've been here. And
I know.
You haven't been behind a computer screen.
I've been to Florida on two separate occasions since the last time I've been in studio. So,
which is insane.
Which really wasn't that long ago. I was thinking, like, was it last year? I mean, it was last year, but it was like Christmas. Well, I've been to Florida since then.
That's true.
And I guess we should let the people know that are listening why I went to Florida a second time.
which is pretty hilarious. And
it kind of started with you. So why don't you tell them what you... well, I'll tell them what I was doing on Sunday morning. Yeah. I was laying in bed because it was Sunday morning and I had just woken up. And
in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Yep. I was out late last Saturday night hanging out in Pennsylvania, just, doing the local thing. I had no expectation of being in Florida, but, well, I'm sure you all could figure out what happened. Alex, you sent me a text message. Hey, you and David, the other guy from the podcast, you guys should come down because half the podcast is down there. And at first I was like, nah, I don't think that's realistic, I know I've looked up last minute prices for flights and I'm like, I don't think so. And David had said no right away.
Yeah.
Well, I looked it up and sure enough, after a little bit of research, it was like $130 one way and you guys could pick me up. And I'm like, wait a minute, like I could do this.
This is totally like on the table. Like,
yeah. And then doubly so, I think it hit me like, hey, the podcast guys are in Florida without me. And
it just doesn't feel right.
I got a little jealous.
Yeah,
everyone knows I'm the remote from Florida half the time guy, and the fact that you guys are there without me just didn't sit right with me.
So you're like, it's time. It's time.
Oh, and also there was a race being run on Sunday.
There was that too.
Or Monday. 2 races being run on Monday, and so I got to go watch them and hang out with you guys.
Yeah, it was one of those funny things where obviously Sunday morning they called it pretty early. Honestly, thank you NASCAR because there was a 0% chance it was happening, and it was just nice to
the right thing.
Yeah, not to go through like the circus and everything, just to go okay, yeah, go home. So yeah, we have a little group chat with all the Racing Addicts people, and I was like, guys, you have an opportunity to like come down here for really cheap. So I'm just glad it worked out. It was cool, and we were staying incidentally like 15 minutes from Orlando International Airport. So it was like...
It worked out because you had I had options, right? So you have... Like, if you were staying right near the track, you would think, well, come to Daytona. In fact, I think you even suggested it. Like, we can pick you up in the morning and like...
Oh, right, yeah.
I guess best case scenario, that's how it would have went. But like, realistically, I just had to see what my options were. But because you guys were in Orlando staying... which, by the way, the best kept secret in the industry is that if you want cheaper, more easygoing... commodities, experiences, hotel, like if you want to stay near it, you're only 45 minutes away in Orlando. And it worked out for me because I flew into Orlando. I got a cheap flight out of Baltimore, which is less than 2 hours away from us. And it was perfect. It was great. You guys were only 20 minutes away or whatever. And
it was just
was absolutely seamless. I had no idea 72 hours ago that I was going to go to Florida and come back and watch the Daytona 500.
It was just destined to happen. Like that's I think where we landed is that it just had to. There was no option. It just worked out. So no, it was cool. And apparently, best kept secret is there's a lot of industry people that stay in Orlando too, because we learned that at the tweet up on Monday morning, which I will probably mess up that date a million times because I'm still not sure what day today is. I think it's Wednesday. My computer screen says it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
In my head, it's Tuesday or Monday. Honestly, I don't even know. It could be Friday. We might be at Atlanta tonight. I don't even... the sensory is destroyed.
If you're a fan of racing and you like it to be on time and you want it to be run on Sunday, you don't want us to be in Atlanta.
Clearly.
You better hope we're not in Atlanta because as we pointed out to Jordan Bianchi in person.
We're the curse.
We kind of blew him away because once he realized the list of races we've been to with all the rainouts, it's terrifying.
It was so funny. Like he actually, like we gave him the list over the last year and a half of every race we've been to, and he like took a step backwards. It's like,
and I say we collectively. Now I wasn't at the Dover or the Charlotte races that got rained out,
right,
but you were. Right. We were at Michigan. That got pushed to Monday. Right. It's a PA thing, I guess. We're just extending our Speedweeks curse.
Well, it's ironic because one of the big pushes behind wanting to do this trip is I was like, man, we can go to Daytona in February. It's going to be so nice. It's going to be sunny. Going to eat up all that. And then, like, in all fairness, Friday was gorgeous. Like, Friday was a good day. And then just like 60 and rain. And then Monday, we had like, I don't know, like a 6-hour gap that was beautiful on Monday.
Yeah, when that sun finally came out.
Yeah.
God bless.
And then when it went away, that was like legitimately shivering during the Xfinity race.
Yeah, we should really, we should just run through. I mean, Sunday was a wash. Did you guys do anything fun or interesting? You went to Topgolf?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we tried, honestly. Like, the big goal was, like, let's just do something. Because if you sit around the hotel, you're just going to get depressed and you're going to get, like, tired and more exhausted. So it's like, all right, we got to do something. So, you know, props to Chili's and their big Corey LaJoy sponsorship activation.
Yeah.
Like, there was no choice for lunch. We're like, all right, well, Chili's it is. We're going to Chili's. Mitch got himself a margarita because, you know, again, the Corey LaJoy activation. It's a solid start. Then we went bowling because I had no idea what else to do. And I was like, hey, there's a bowling alley nearby. Okay, yeah, let's go bowling.
I'm doubly jealous, although it's fine. I'm still satisfied with the way things went.
It was still good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
And then we ended up at Topgolf, which was really fun. So Topgolf's really good. Honestly, if it were up to me alone, I probably just would have spent the whole afternoon at Topgolf.
Is that fun?
I enjoy it. Like, there's enough different things to do because they have like 12 different kind of games that are all different objectives. So like, it's easy. Like it's really easy to like fill time because we did 90 minutes and it was like, oh shoot, we're done. Okay.
I'm jealous on that one because it's on my short list of things I want to do. It sounds like fun. You know, I like golf.
Yeah.
It kicked into another gear, 5th gear last year, I think.
Oh, next gen jokes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I caught that. That was good. Yeah, well, I think you're coming to Charlotte. I think that's the game plan.
I'm planning on it, although I'll be coming from the south.
From the south, because there is a Topgolf in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So we may have to allocate a little bit of time, Coke 600 weekend, and go. Obviously, like where we are in PA, the nearest one is 2 hours away, so it's kind of annoying. Wow, that was really loud. So yeah, it's just kind of weird. So it doesn't work as well. Yeah, the first thing I have on the list here is just rain, and more rain, and man,
including Monday morning because you know obviously everything got postponed, and then we had another postponement right there in the morning. You know, we were committed to leaving the hotel. I mean, we had nothing to do with the hotel. It was raining in Orlando, so we went.
Sorry, you're good.
Oh, you're good. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought we lost everything for a second.
No, I got deafened by the mail notification, so I was trying to make sure that did not happen again, and I hit the wrong button.
So, obviously, Xfinity got pushed back when we got to the track. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit intimidating for me. I don't know about you. I like thinking like, oh, this is going to be a late day.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Especially with the drive we had because we got our hotel booked the night before. We knew we were going to have to go to Jacksonville.
Right. And we thought we were being smart because we were like, oh, there's no sense in going back to Orlando.
Yeah.
Like, we might as well head north after the race. And then
we were staring down the barrel of a pretty intimidating long Monday.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, it was a grueler by the end of it. It was an intense experience, but it was neat. I'm really glad I went. And
yeah,
well,
I
guess
we
should
should check off the
through,
list.
Yeah, we should walk through the beginning of that. So we did go to the Tweet Up. That was the reason we went early,
right?
And what was that? What was that like?
It was cool, and mostly like Jordan Bianchi is like one of my favorite media personalities, and he's really funny on the podcast. He gives Jeff a hard time, which we all love, and he is like one of the coolest personalities because every time you talk to him, it's like you're talking to whatever, like your best friend from years ago, because it's just easy to whatever. So we ended up hanging out with him for really, honestly, most of it.
Yeah.
Everyone. Jeff Gluck was wearing his Pretty in Pink outfit that Bianchi picked out for.
We know he got a lot of attention that he may or may not. Was that a bet? Is that what it was?
Yeah. So they do a was it a good race poll bet?
Yeah.
And he Jordan beat him last year.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bianchi got to pick his outfit for today. And honestly, he was a lot nicer than I thought he would be. Like I expected this like borderline flamboyant pink thing. And so honestly, like it was actually kind of a nice, like it was a decent looking suit. So I thought that was actually pretty good. So
I wonder if he wore it 2 days in a row.
He did.
Because you have to.
He had to. And that was, so he did all of the media stuff on Sunday in the pink suit and then had a second one that he wore for Monday, which was fun to get clarification. But
yeah, shout out to Jordan. He's a really nice guy. You two seem to get along. I think you guys are very similar people. And but he's just as cool as anyone you meet at the track, and really nice guy. So that was a good time.
Big time. No, that was really cool, and just enjoy seeing them. Like it's neat that the personalities of the sport make themselves so available.
Yeah,
you know, because like you don't get that option at an NFL game. You know, I feel like at NASCAR, you have the opportunity to see the people in the sport so much because it's like even the appearances, which it was kind of a shame because we didn't know about most of the appearances that weekend until like 30 minutes before, and we were in Orlando. So it was like, oh, that sucks. But like Corey LaJoy had a whole pile of stuff. I know Tony Brenninger, trying to remember. I mean, Denny Hamlin, there was piles of appearances. During the rain Sunday, Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, and Harrison Burton literally were just walking through the campground because they're like, oh, you fans stuck around. You want to, come out and meet you. So it's like, it's just neat how accessible the sport is.
It's their Super Bowl, right? Like we just had back-to-back Super Bowls, if you will, different series. And it's neat to, and this is not a dig at the NFL. We love football. I love football. This isn't even a comparison. It's just more, it's just cool as a NASCAR fan, especially if you're a new fan. We were at the biggest event of the year. This is the first time I've ever been there. And you still have that, like, I was thinking, like, if NASCAR was a city, it has a small town feel. Like, no matter how big the event is, you still feel like everything is accessible. If that makes sense. That's how it feels like in my head.
100% right.
And that's cool. You know, I hope NASCAR never changes that. I know there was a little off-season debate about, like, are the superstars too accessible? No, never change NASCAR.
Yeah, never change. And
never change.
I think there's probably less activation than there was before, but it's still good. So like, I don't ever want to demonize what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of things they're doing right. So that was that. And then we did do our live. We had a lot of fans join us on our morning live stream from the Midway, which was really, really fun. Enjoy getting all the response from people doing race predictions and wreck predictions and gosh, what else did we talk about? We talked about teams and cars and rain and
just a lot of speculation. it's like how do you speculate Daytona? I mean, that's all it is speculation.
It's kind of a crapshoot. Yeah,
a little bit.
And because certain guys are going to be fast.
It's a lottery. There's bigger odds for better guys, but at the end of the day, anyone can win it. It's not like. It's not like Harrison Burton can't win it. You know what I mean? Like his odds are going to be higher at Daytona versus Martinsville. You know.
Well, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
So
yeah, and because I didn't have William Byron at all on my radar. Like he would have been, and I picked him to win the championship, but he probably would have been like 15th on my potential to win radar. Like
So okay. This is an interesting way of asking it. So, what's the gap between your 15th most likely and your most likely? You know what I mean? Like, how much of a drop is it?
Well, it's so, and I guess I'm just going to roll this right into the racing product conversation because there are people that can make moves that can control the race. I mean, you look at Denny Hamlin's track record, no question, he knows what he's doing. My guy Blaney, great super speedway track record. Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, like all these guys that Brad Keselowski, that they are really good at these tracks and they can really control. And that to me is what puts it in the top 5. What's frustrating is, and I feel like we definitely saw this on Sunday, the ability for the driver to make a move feels restricted.
Yeah.
And Denny went into it on his podcast, and it was a little painful because I'm literally listening to his podcast going, yep, Yep. Like literally agreeing with everything he says, because it's like we just saw it. Like we just witnessed this in person where
It hurts our pride.
oh, these cars are so slow and have so much drag that the ability for the individual driver to actually like step out and make moves is just handicapped. And that's what's frustrating, because I think that's where you're starting to see some of the random winners. Like, and it's nothing against William Byron. I mean, obviously, I think he's one of the best drivers in the Cup Series right now. But like, he didn't do anything yesterday to prove to me that he was like a winning contender. It was just like you somehow survived the wrecks and you happened to be there, and then you just maintain. Like, honestly, Ross Chastain impressed me more on Sunday with the way he was able to manage the runs right before, obviously, we had the big pileup. So, yeah, it's and that's where it's like, where do you go from the top 5 to the top 15 of what you expect? And I think that's the difference. But right now, that probably doesn't matter as much.
Now, I have a slightly different take on this. I mean, it's similar. I'm not debating the fact that this happened. Now, I will say, just to preface this whole thing for the listeners who weren't at the track, do you think that they understood what was happening the way we did? Because we're listening to 3 spotter audios at a time. We're hearing I learned yesterday. I mean, I knew. Okay, back up. I knew going into the weekend that fuel mileage was something that was on people's minds. Sure. They talked about it, but I did at Daytona. You can hear the PRN broadcast, the radio broadcast behind you, and I'm realizing in the moment they're embellishing a lot of what was happening on track. And I even saw a comment on like a YouTube channel this morning or last night where they were like, the PRN broadcast, somebody had asked, like, was this a good race? And they were like, it sounded great on the radio. And, I'm sure it did.
Yeah, they made it sound
they were
so
double
exciting.
file and, it looked like a drag race. But I'm just wondering, do you think that people who watched it on TV, like the average fan, realized just the degree of pace laps they were basically setting for the majority of the race after, I don't know, lap 10?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think you do, because I remember, this is my first super speedway race with this car. And like, I honestly, like, I wasn't wild over it, but I'm like, no, I think it's a pretty decent package. Like, I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah.
And listening to DBC last week, or it would have been 2 weeks ago, and Freddie was just destroying it. He's like, this car sucks. You can't do anything. It's just like ride around, and then try not to wreck in the last 5 laps. And I was listening, and I'm like, man,
yeah,
it feels super critical. Like, I don't know that I feel 100% that way. But now, like, seeing it in person and getting to actually watch the moves, watch the everything, it's like, oh, frick, Freddie's 100% correct. Like, it's... They were 25 miles an hour off pace in stage 2 versus the end of the race.
We need to walk through exactly what that was and what that looked like for the people, because I don't know to the degree that the people at home, because we were at the track.
Sure.
Now I'm wondering, like, has this been happening for the entire next-gen era? Have they been doing this the entire time? Or were they doing this at the end of last year at, like, Talladega? They probably were, and I didn't realize it, because I thought... See... It gives the illusion that they are side-by-side racing and you can develop a third line. Right. And I thought, I even said this on the podcast, I think we all kind of came to this conclusion after watching on TV, like, oh, wow, they really must have done something with the package to where the third lane is viable. Well, now we realize, or at least for me, I'm fully aware now that, like, this is because these guys are running at like 30% throttle.
Yeah, it's insane.
They're fuel saving. And no wonder it looks like there's a third lane. It's because you can... Okay.
It's because they're on the accelerator.
Yeah, people wouldn't have seen this unless you were at the track. AJ Allmendinger lost the draft at one point, and there was nothing wrong with his car. He was just...
It was just a pit thing. Like, he didn't come out with a buddy.
Yeah, for whatever reason, he just didn't make the draft. And well, guess what? I was expecting him to get like lapped within 10 laps. He was beating the field on a single car run. Now, obviously, he wasn't saving any fuel. He was in
go mode.
He was in go mode. He didn't want to go lap down. You don't want to get run over at that point. But for the majority of this race, certainly in the middle of it, in the beginning, after lap 10, we'll get into that. Brad.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't want to get sidetracked by that already. But just so the people at home know, I don't know to the degree that the broadcast pointed this out. I'm really curious. If you listen to this and you have a way of like commenting on our socials, you should definitely let us know. Like if this goes on TikTok, let us know if the broadcast made you aware to the degree that they were running like minimal, like half throttle, saving fuel, because it gave this illusion of side-by-side racing, constant battles, and that's not what was happening. These were glorified pace laps in the words of people like Denny Hamlin. And
it honestly, from the stands, at least for me, it looked like you were watching the pace laps and you just hit like number one fast forward on your remote.
Now, for me visually, like I don't have inbuilt radar. I'm at the track. I'm at this track for the first time. I've never been to a plate race, and I'm watching them from the stands, and I don't know how fast they're going. You know what I mean? It's just what they're saying over the radio is what keyed me in to like, oh, they're really saving hard here. And then once you pay attention to it, like towards the end of the fuel saving, you could get into the bottom lane and then just single car your way up because the draft at that point isn't stopping you.
Right.
It's not even a factor. Like I didn't realize to the degree like they're going 15, 20 mile an hour slower than maybe qualifying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or they could be. So
yeah,
now,
I just would love, I think Denny nailed it, because based on what I saw with my eyes and what Denny recommended on his podcast, I think he's right, which is if you can get rid of some of the drag, you're going to eliminate that. Like I know, there's ideas of like, well, add more stages, get rid of this stage, move this stage here. And it's like, it just feels like a Band-Aid, whereas like, why don't we just remove some of the drag from the car? Dude, they looked so slow. Like, I know you're still traveling at 170 miles an hour, but like the Xfinity cars smoked the Cup cars.
The guy beside us when we sat down for the 500 was telling us that we should, if you are thinking about doing the Richard Petty driving experience, to do it, because he got up to like 155, 160, and I was thinking like, that's like 50 miles an hour slower than the NASCAR cars. But then I realized, like, well, they're only going about 10, 15 faster when they're saving fuel. So I guess it is like, the NASCAR experience.
It really is.
So, I mean, it's not that far off. Back in the day, you're running 200. But we obviously have to get into this because it's really the storyline of the race. If you didn't now, if you're listening to us and you watch the broadcast, there's a good chance that you don't even realize the extent that this is going on. I can't, like, fathom difference. I mean, it's crazy because I don't know how long this has been going on, and I just became aware of it this weekend, just the degree of like, oh, that's what was going on.
Yeah.
I will say this is where I slightly, I'm not going to say disagree, but just have like my own opinion about it, which was like, if you ask me, was it a bad race? I would say it could be improved, but it doesn't make it illegitimate. It doesn't make it any less of a race, I mean, than any other plate race. Obviously, you can ask the question: is a plate race a legitimate race? Because it's, even when all systems are perfect, is it still luck? And it's like, well, yes,
kinda, yeah. I mean, there's that variable,
and we know that. But in this case, it's like, so you have a weird system for whatever reason, and we could get into it. Honestly, Denny did a great breakdown of like why, but. At any rate, you have the situation where they're saving fuel for 75% of the race. And to me, I do think it's like, this is the meta. How do teams respond? And I thought it was interesting because it brought up a situation where at the end, you had the Fords have their own line, the Chevys have their own line. And if it wasn't like for Ross Chastain blocking the Ford line, which were surging to beat the Chevys as they were speeding up because they were always a little bit later than everyone else, you had a situation where like you had a lot of Chevys up front. And sure enough, a Chevrolet won the race. And the 24, the 48, the 1, they were controlling a lot of what was happening out up front with the last 25, 30 laps, Obviously, a lot of cautions involving them, but that's because they were in the front controlling the lanes or trying to. And, I think that comes down to, hey, they may have executed the strategy the best. They just had that slight performance advantage to get out there and stay out front. And we could definitely talk about whether or not that's ideal from a racing product standpoint. I would say probably not. I think we all know once you realize, like, this is what's happening, Like the drivers don't want it. I can tell you that. So that says a lot.
Yeah.
And once you know about it as a fan, it's like, well, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
But within the rules that they are currently running, to me, it's like, well, still there's just some strategy within it. And to me, it's like, okay, it's not like they can't do anything about it. Okay, there's a strategy. It's not ideal that there is this strategy, but within the confines of that rule, like who's going to figure it out? Who's going to execute the best? And to me, it felt like the Chevys did. And we heard a lot of people, even yesterday, talk about like Chevy. We didn't even know if they were going to be as good as the Fords and the Toyotas with their new noses. And, Chevy's still a pretty good organization, and I feel like you could literally see that. Like they obviously, I thought they controlled their own destiny is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, they did that well. And it was hard for me because like I even thought about it with the Jeff Gluck poll, and it was like, was it a good race? And I was like, well, like I kind of walked away disappointed, honestly. Just because, and obviously like this is a little bit biased, my opinion, and it's not all like blaming NASCAR, but you had 3/4 of the race where nothing happened. Like straight up nothing happened. Like they just followed each other in a circle for 160 laps. And then basically when the racing started getting good, then my guy gets wrecked 5 laps later. And it's like, okay, well, there's that. And then you're like, well, okay, but we're going to get a good finish. And like, I was equally as excited because your guy was up there. Mitch's guy was up there, and it was like, oh, cool. Like, all right, I got something to root for. And then it was just like, it's over. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And it was just like I'm literally watching, Byron celebrate on the front stretch, and like I'm literally just confused of what did I just watch? Did I literally just sit in 48 hours of rain to watch basically Interstate 77 for 2.5 hours? Because that's kind of what it felt like, and that's where it was like, it kind of sucked, So that's my frustration. Like I think it's still better than the tandem days. I hated tandem super speedway racing. I thought that sucked more than anything ever that has come to the super speedways, but it did leave me kind of disappointed. Like, that's the race. Okay. And I'm not putting, I mean, we'll talk about that. I guess we'll just talk about it now. The finish, there's zero fault on NASCAR. Like when you spin coming across the white flag line, like what are they supposed to do? You know what I mean? I mean, there's that is what it is. So it's not like there's anything to address as far as that's concerned. It's just one of those like, hey, sometime you get what you get. I mean, the 2 was coming back up the track, obviously, because he hit the wall. So like you have to throw the yellow there, which sucks. And you can't do a green, white checkered because the 48 and the 24 have already taken the white flag. So it's like, I get it. It just sucks.
Yeah, it's really hard to find someone to blame for it. Or like,
oh yeah, exactly.
Actually, like all in all, I think I realize it's, at least this is my perspective, it's just a product of circumstance, and it happens sometimes. Sometimes these races, the plate races, aren't as memorable and iconic as we want them to be. Like,
yeah.
When I show up to Daytona for the first time, I'm looking down there, and actually I got chills thinking like, wow. Not just because it was cold. I got chills because like I'm looking down there and like I remember watching like the 29 just edge out Mark Martin.
Yeah, like
and,
right there.
Iconic finishes like that under the lights where I'm like, dude, like we could have one of those. But I also know in the back of my mind, I've seen plenty, if not more, situations where like, a guy's leading by a lot or it ends under caution. It's like, you never know what you're going to get. With this finish, it's like, do we blame the boring middle of the race for that? To me, I don't think so, because it's like they strategized to get it there towards the end. You had more people in the field because there was less wrecking in the middle of the race.
Yeah.
Back in the day when they did race harder in the middle of the race, half the time, like my guy Jimmy Johnson was out like on lap 60, and it's like, well, no, now what? Yeah, now what? But like a lot of our guys were there at the end. Helps when you have 3 guys. Like I was rooting for 3 guys.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Ross is the one that remained. Rest in peace to Corey and Jimmy Johnson's 500 championship or 500 winning hopes. They were killed before double-digit laps.
Shout out
Thanks,
to you,
Brad.
Brad Keselowski.
Thanks, Brad.
That was
Appreciate that. Thanks for pushing the trial, buddy.
And I thought, I really thought it was going to be John Hunter's fault because I had a friend that was like, well, John Hunter parked it in front of him. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went back this morning and actually rewatched like that whole lap. And I'm like, no, that was Brad. That was Brad. Dumb push at a dumb spot. He went to the side of the 42 and hit him. And it's like, this never works. This never works. It's the same thing he did to Byron in the duels.
He's
that took Blaney out. And it's like, dude, like you are one of the most accomplished super speedway drivers. How can you keep doing this?
He's one of the most notorious speedway drivers, for better or for worse, because I mean he's like the Ross Chastain of super speedways, because every time he's involved, you're automatically not going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh no!
At least that's where I'm at with it.
And honestly, deservingly. Like honestly, so what's funny because it was kind of hard to see exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And when they had the big pileup on the backstretch, I actually thought it was Brad's fault because from, a mile and a half away or however far away our eyes were, it looked like the 6 wrecked himself. And I was like, oh, are you freaking kidding me? Is this going to be like the weekend of Brad just wrecking every car in the Cup Series?
Would anyone be surprised? That's the thing.
No, that's like, honestly, I
that's what I mean.
I wasn't even shocked. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Brad wrecked him twice this weekend. Great. Awesome. So... yeah, it's right. Anyway, like I have no blame. I would love to see a racier package come back. And I don't think it's that hard. I think we can give the cars a little more motor and pull some drag off, and I think it's fine.
Yeah, I do think we can tweak everything that needs to be tweaked. Well, apparently NASCAR doesn't want to do it. I don't know what their issue is. We're definitely going to get into that because, we are. We had a little, basically, we everything we're talking about, we had 8 hours, 10 hours yesterday in a car to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
We should have just hit record. We were talking about this too. Like,
yeah,
we just need like a.
We need to start doing just post-race podcasts from the car, or the truck, whatever we're driving. Yeah. Because that's honestly like we had so many good.
Yeah.
Because we kind of laid into the competition of NASCAR a little bit yesterday.
We did.
So
I was wondering if this is gonna like. Actually, I was thinking like when we get to the studio, is this gonna if we do this. And are we going to have like really, really efficient, consolidated, well thought opinions, or are these all going to be like tired out, worn out conversations we had like 3 times? You know what I mean? Like, what's the vibe going to be? But
well, and it makes so like my initial thought was this is your Super Bowl, like so to have the bulk of your Super Bowl be like watching an interstate, like that should throw up warning flags to me, but. I look at the uneducated NASCAR fan and the TV viewer, and honestly, if they don't see it, I don't know if NASCAR cares. So the only saving grace for me is the teams have been whining about this pretty much since 2022. Like this, I heard this right out of the gate from all of the people in the industry. Like this car is way too much drag, you can't do anything. So. What gives me a little bit of encouragement that we might see a change is really Monday. I got the right day. Monday, we really saw the entire sport from a team perspective uniform together and just say, okay, well, if we can't pass, we're just going to save fuel for 500 miles.
Yeah.
Because they're literally every car on the track was on the same agenda. And I watched a little bit of the broadcast earlier today before you got here.
Okay.
And like they actually, you were hearing some of the scanner audio. Like at one point, Kyle Larson was buried in the pack, and Cliff Daniels was like, "This is perfect." He said, "Honestly, them slowing down helps us even more."
Yeah,
he's like, and it's just like I don't know, to have your supposedly biggest event of the year come down to who can hit the gas pedal the least amount is just so irritating. And
it's not ideal, right?
No, and that's where I'm kind of hoping, because I appreciate the strategy, and you know me, like I've never been a strategy guy. Yeah. That's just not my flavor of racing, and I understand we're all different, which is good. Because I always want to see drivers that can control their destiny.
Yeah,
and I feel like you just didn't have that at all Monday. It was like
you got a point. You want a
like
guy
Cliff
running
Daniels,
as hard as he can for 500 miles, and then the best man wins.
That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. So my only hope is all those words just to say I'm hoping since the sport did it in such a huge fashion Sunday that NASCAR finally sees it and is like, oh crap, we can't have this again, because like I walked away going, I'll probably never come to another race here, because I just like, it was cool. I mean, the pre-race atmosphere, the just being there is amazing. Like, it's really cool. I'm so glad we checked it off the bucket list. But like, you look at the racing product where we're at right now, and it's like, I have no desire to go to a super speedway right now, because it's like, at least I can sit at home and do something else if they're riding around in an interstate pack for 2 hours. So
yeah. I think it was worth it just because I didn't have to watch commercials.
Oh my gosh, you're probably right. You're probably right.
I really don't like commercials.
The amazing part is it looks like the broadcast actually caught all the wrecks.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, there was only 3, but still.
Yeah, 1 at the beginning and 2 at the end, right?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Not much.
I don't think we're missing anything there.
Yeah. Huh.
So,
how about that?
But I'm amazed they weren't at commercial one of the times, because I was half expecting to hear that.
So going back, I guess just to finish the point about like I just got distracted by the drum head. It says Anthem 2017. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm like a kid. Like a
this is our first Anthem show.
Oh, I never saw that.
I broke a drum head during the set.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
that's
definitely broken.
Yeah, now that's...
Sorry. Maybe we can cut
ADHD squirrel, what?
Yeah, exactly. So circling back just to finish my thoughts on the finish of the race, it's like, what can you blame? It's like, do you blame the format? I think we should change the format, but I don't think that really... like would have changed too much. I don't like, at the end of the day, you can say, well, it was boring until the last 20 laps, but hey, what about the last 20 laps? Was it good? I mean, you can't really, I mean, we could have a better package. Yes, we could. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, there was a lot of blocking. You had a lot of 2 wide, side by side.
Yeah.
It was interesting. And, you could say you were bored up to that point, and, you couldn't control your own destiny the way you want to get to that point. But at the end of the day, it's like, I understand why people feel like not so satisfied, with the finish, or is like very anticlimactic for them. To me, I guess I knew that was always a possibility at a plate race. It doesn't always have that incredible finish.
Right. Sure.
I never felt any disappointment from that personally. I don't even feel disappointment for Ross, my guy, getting spun out, because that's the other thing is like, well, do you blame the guys who were involved in that incident for, anything dumb that they did? And honestly, I saw 3 guys just kind of like doing what they felt like they needed.
Just going for it.
Yeah.
Honestly, after 160 laps of nobody doing anything, I didn't really have any criticism, because it was like, hey, people are doing something. Like,
yeah.
I
love what Ross did.
Yeah. And honestly, I forget, was it Dale Jr., I think, made the comment that if it was just Ross's move, and if it was just the 7 and the 2, neither one would have been a wreck, but it was that perfect windstorm of like...
It was all 3.
Yeah, it was the 7 jacking up the 2. At the same time, the 1 tries to split the middle is what caused it.
It was 3 guys just
going
up.
for it.
Yeah, going for it, exactly.
I love it.
2 was going to try and take his space back after he went down for some reason. Corey was not going to lift, and the 1 wanted that space because it opened up.
Yeah, exactly.
And, who do you blame in that situation?
Well, yeah, and it's so hard to get runs. Like, you have to take them, and the 1 had a run, so because the 24 got stalled. So it's like, if you don't take that run, you're going to kick yourself for the whole next year. So it's like Ross had to take it. Like,
I'm not even upset at what could have been. Once I saw the replay one time, because I couldn't even really tell what was going on in person, I had to like.
We kept using our phones to find out what was going on.
Shout out to YouTube TV, which was our instant replay system.
And the Wi-Fi network at the Speedway,
which was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
because it was, and it's because I thought that part was good. Like I said, I have no blame at all on the finish. I love everyone's going for it.
Yeah, I think that they called it right. They explained themselves, at least on Twitter, and then the situation where it's like, well, should they have done it sooner? Their explanation made sense to me. It's like, they were going towards the infield, and then once they started coming back towards the pack, they had to do it. And it's like, right.
Because if both cars would have gone in, they would have let it run. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. And I've seen that before.
Right, which is the right call. So it's like, literally, they did everything they could. It was just a circumstance thing. Yeah. So I'm great with it.
It's not like Dale Jr. or Chase Elliott were out front. and
Yeah, it wasn't the like, is it in the script?
yeah, exactly. It wasn't like, did they do that on purpose? Like, I don't think William Byron's exactly at that status yet.
No.
That remains to be seen.
But I will say exactly what I said at the end of the race. William Byron is the luckiest driver in the NASCAR Cup Series. Like,
there's some truth to that.
I love him. I think he's a great driver. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. I have never seen a driver back into wins more than him because like half his wins last season, like Darlington comes to mind. Ross and Larson, top 2 cars all day, wreck each other. Billiam slips by on the apron and wins the race. We had the Atlanta one last year where literally it was a pit window versus rain gamble that went badly. And then, oh, by the way, the guy that's been running 20th all race is leading. And the rain comes out 2 laps later, So it's like, there's that. And then again today, like nothing against him, but like if you would have asked me with 15 laps to go who I thought was going to win, he would have been about 20th on my list.
Yeah,
because it was like I never saw him controlling anything. I never saw speed, and then it's like the checkered flag waves and the 24s out front.
Well, even that's elusive because, like you say, he didn't have speed. I said this of Ross yesterday. I realized at the end, it's not that he has an issue getting up to the front. He has no desire to get up to the front. He's just saving fuel.
Oh, yeah, it's
true. It all came
'Cause
down to the execution of that strategy where all the Chevys pit at once. They just did whatever they had to do to get packed up and maintain the lead ahead of the Fords and the Yodas. And it worked out for them. At least it improved their odds, right? Because you had a lot of Chevys up front. And even Ross said that. Like, he was just happy a Chevy won, and he knew that the odds were great. Obviously, that was deeply on the minds of each person and their team. And I mean, it's like you really can't tell who is and isn't good. Now, we should talk about this, though. I think Corey LaJoie and some others deserve a shout because they were there at the end and they were out front the whole time. And we saw Corey do well in the trucks. And, shout out to Mitch, who we give a lot of, I know me and Dave give a hard time to. And speaking for myself, I've wanted to see certain things out of Corey. Just like, same thing with like Bubba Wallace. Not the same issues, but just like where it's like, are they their own worst enemy sometimes?
Yeah.
That sort of thing, right? I think that's the thing I would say they have in common, where it's like they obviously have talent, but like with Corey, I've seen him kind of do the weirdest things when he's out front, where he came into this week with a totally different attitude.
He did.
I think Spire has an entirely new attitude.
I think it's the first he's been allowed to actually race.
And even Mitch, like, so he was up front in the middle, I think end of stage 2, even into stage 3, and then he got shuffled to the back. Because remember, it was like him and Hamlin up front, and then he went to the back, and Mitch texted the group chat. This is how we communicated the track. We just text each other. Yeah. Even though we're sitting beside each other. We got earmuffs on. So he had said something like, it was good while it lasted. And I was like, dude, it's not over. I just watched Brad go from the back to the front in like 2 laps. I don't even know how he did it. I just blinked and he was there.
I think he was the only one in the accelerator. I'm pretty sure he did that.
It could be, it could have been that very well. I don't know what was going on at that point. It's hard to. I wish I knew. I wish I had all that data. But Corey was there at the end, just like he was at the truck race before he crashed. And I don't know. He deserves a shot because he was actually a performer. And I do think there are super speedway guys that do tend to just do better than others. Yeah, for sure. Bubba, he finished up near the front.
Yeah, it was nice to see LaJoie not put himself in a bad spot because it's like I feel like that happens all the time, and he managed himself well. So, and it was a good finish for him. Good finish for him. Speedway Complex, 10 out of 10. I was blown away. Yeah. It's funny. The grandstands were impressive. And it feels like a really dumb statement to make, but if you've never been to Daytona, you have 3 completely independent landings, all with their own food, hangout areas, activation areas for sponsors, bathrooms, elevators, and then it's like the Wi-Fi is phenomenal. It's just like I was so, and I don't know, it was funny that I kept bringing it up, but I was so impressed with the grandstands because like, it created such a good environment for it. And the seats are great. They had lots of TVs, which was great because obviously super speedways, it's just the sheer size of the track. You can only see so much. So having the screens everywhere, like Shout out to Daytona. Facility was great. Shout out to NASCAR on their weather calls all weekend, moving the ARCA race up, getting Xfinity qualifying in when they had a tiny little window Saturday morning. Like, just, there was so much frustration with the rain, and I thought NASCAR was a 10 out of 10 in how they managed it. They tried to shove Xfinity in a window on Monday morning, ended up not working out. But again, like, I appreciated the effort. Like, they did everything in their power to not eliminate racing for the fans, but not keep us there till Wednesday. So,
yep,
just worth mentioning. We give NASCAR a lot of crap. I just kind of tore apart their car for 15 minutes. So it's worth
not
mentioning.
There's like two people making every decision.
No.
There's entire departments that they're in charge of different things, and obviously the people that can control the weather, the people that handle the weather. They seem to do a pretty good job. So
that's the next thing. So
remember, we thought like in Michigan, we were looking at the weather like, there's no chance they'll get it on Monday, and then they did. And then it ended up being a beautiful day. So they obviously know some things. They're pretty smart.
And the NASCAR curse continues because the only rain all weekend was in Central Florida. Like, literally Central Florida too, because Miami did not have rain.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was just like Mother Nature was like, wait, where are they at? Where's NASCAR? Oh, cool.
It's a cosmic joke at this point. Like, what's going on?
So frustrating.
What did we do?
What did we do? So we had the Xfinity race after the Cup race.
Yeah, what did you think? I mean, how would you say?
Entertainment value was definitely higher.
Yeah.
And I will say, so we went from basically as high and as far towards turn one you could go to in the tri-oval and kind of down a little bit. And I did think it was a lot better.
Yeah.
I felt like it's, again, big track, but I felt like you could at least see with your eyes most of what was happening, which was really cool. And then obviously you're closer to the big TVs too, so when you do need a replay, you can. But I thought Xfinity. Now, it was freezing cold. Like, I don't know if people at home understand how unbelievably cold it was at this point. Like, I was legit shivering in the stands. But I thought I love the Xfinity race package, or the racing quality. It's like drivers can make moves. Drivers can you can judge what your bumps are going to be better, because it's not this like everything's fine and then suddenly falls apart. Like, it's just, I don't know. I thought Xfinity was the best racing product of the weekend. It definitely turned into a shoe show, but which I think we kind of expected. But I thought it was fine. I mean, it was Daytona with the Xfinity series, like kind of what you expected. And big shocker, Austin Hill won again.
We have the perfect opportunity in this moment to do some clickbait. Just be like, Gibbs joins the show.
Gibbs joins the show.
But we don't tell him which Gibbs. The cat's name is Gibbs.
Right, the cat.
I don't even know if they can see the cat. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's tail right now.
Okay, I lost my screen, so.
Oh.
Hi, Gibbs.
The Gibbs is in the shot. So what? I don't know. What did you think of Xfinity?
It was good. I honestly was so distracted with one thing that I was fixated on, which was I was just listening to SVG. Yeah. Yes, or SVJ if you are Jeff Burton.
Eventually, they're going to figure out how to say his name.
Nah, he's speaking of figuring things out, man. He figured out that car pretty quick. He had a messed up race car. I actually wonder how many people watched the Xfinity race after all that. Like, it was pretty late, but I was so hyper fixated on him. I didn't really know who to listen to. I got really no dog in that fight. Well, now I feel like I do, because I listened to him, and they babied him through everything. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean, like, you could tell, like, he was a total beginner.
Younger,
total beginner. And it was fascinating to listen to.
Yeah.
Fascinating from the standpoint of, here's a guy who clearly has a ton of talent, but he's in an element. He's just doing something he has never done before. I mean, I guess he did do ARCA, which actually was interesting to me, because, like, maybe they didn't trust the people that helped him in ARCA. I wonder if it was the same crew. I didn't watch the ARCA race, but he was in it. But they raced him through this like it was his first race.
Yeah,
on a plate race ever.
Well, and it was a different racing experience, because like ARCA, if you get too wide, that's it. Because obviously, like your disparity between the equipment, driver skill, everything. Whereas Xfinity, I mean, we saw a lot of 3-4 bobbing, weaving. I mean, it was
good.
It was a very active driver race. So he did really well, and he was the only driver I saw that spun through the infield that didn't come back onto the track. Like that one spin that he had. But I mean, this is a completely different racing product from anything that SVG has ever done before.
For sure.
And I mean, I felt like he met expectations for me. Honestly, probably exceeded, just because. I mean, the guy totally is green. He did spin a car, unfortunately, but he for the most part he kept his nose clean. The car made it to the end. Like, I thought that was good.
Yeah, for the listener, so he got in an accident earlier. Wasn't his fault. He just got pinned, and
which we still don't know what happened. I still haven't seen a replay from that. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just know he got pinned. His steering was messed up, so like he had a lot of play in the steering wheel. He didn't even feel comfortable going around the track like after the accident to get to pit road. But eventually he got comfortable enough, and they must have fixed enough of it. It wasn't totally fixed. He had to stay on the outside, but he ended up finishing P12. He was at the high side of 3 wide, and like you said, his spotter was saying to him like, I would love for him to be able to go down into that middle lane.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can do so much passing in Xfinity.
You can make a lot of time in the middle
but
there.
His car was so messed up, and I'm sure he would have been willing. He seems like he's a really, really, he's just a great race car driver, it seems like.
Low level.
So I'm so excited for him. That was my takeaway from the Xfinity race was, you did have more passing, and I think I have a new driver that I'm interested in.
Nice.
And it's not like he's going to be a backmarker guy because he's just new. Like, I'm actually thinking he's going to have a lot of top 10s. And that excites me. So
yeah. No, I thought it was good. Obviously, big Allgaier fan. I enjoyed listening to the communication between him and Eddie DeHunt, his spotter. I was legit laughing out loud. They may be my new favorite driver spotter combo, because Eddie is very direct on what he thinks, and he's very sarcastic, which is, of course, my love language.
And this is his new spotter, right?
No, he's had Eddie for a while now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Eddie was with Chase last year. He moved to a different Cup driver, but
Who was the guy that went to
Allgaier.
Jimmy Johnson that you said came from someone else?
I can't remember now. It just went out of my head. Yeah. We got a couple spotter changes. A lot of spotter changes in the Cup Series, but I think a lot of the Xfinity maintained ish.
Yeah.
So, but no, that was pretty good. So yeah, like all in all, it was a cool weekend. I mean, it's neat to be down there. All the personalities, the trucks, everything were interesting to watch. Definitely interesting. Yeah, the ARCA and trucks did pretty much what I expected them to. So it's good. I'm excited the season's back, ready to get rolling. Curious to see what we're going to see at Atlanta this weekend. I think with the track being slightly different, I think you're going to see a slightly more racy package than you saw at Daytona, because I think the ability to make passes is a lot higher at Atlanta just because the corners are tighter, so handling matters more.
Yeah. You can leapfrog on the outside.
You can. Whereas I feel like Daytona and Talladega, it's so gripped up and so wide open that you kind of get a lot of the just follow the leader because you can't pass anyway.
Yeah, you can't leapfrog because if you get out of line and there's no one in front of you, it's like you're just going to parachute back, like Denny was saying. So
big old parachute. So I'm excited. Do you have anyone on your radar for Atlanta this weekend?
I want to say I think more of the regulars that we're used to seeing as being good. So anywhere from Ross to Brad to the 24 to any of these guys that you would expect, like all the top 10 drivers, I think they shine at tracks like this. But this is not much less of a luck element is what I mean. I think
I think so.
I would expect one of the household names, if you will, to win. As opposed to like the 500 where I'm like, anyone can win it. Jimmy Johnson's going to win it. Like, which one final note on that? We didn't talk about this. I'm wearing my 77 hat, and the 77 and the 84, two guys I love. I better get into this. So the 77, I got the hat because although he crashed, I want people to know that when he breaks out, I was a fan. I was here.
I was here first.
I was here. I didn't have any Jimmy merch, but I'm a legacy Jimmy Johnson fan. A fan of Jimmy Johnson's from a long time ago. Not
you have your previous driver, your future driver, and
yes,
Ross
exactly.
Is your current driver.
The past, present, and future all converged. Well, two of those guys got wiped out, so I was sad about that. But I'm wearing the 77 hat just because I want people to know despite the bad start, that I still expect.
I still believe.
I was him. I was not a bandwagoner. When it happens, when the breakout happens,
man.
Yeah, but,
that's the spirit.
Yeah,
that's the spirit. That's good. I like those picks. I feel like I still like the Fords this weekend. I'm liking the 6 or the 12. I'm picking the 6 to wreck 2 times this weekend, cause 2 wrecks this weekend, but likely also win the race. So it just feels like that. So I feel like you got to start picking how many wrecks Brad causes at plate. That's going to be the new thing that we.
The over under has to be 1.5 because it's usually 1 or 2 or maybe even 3.
My gosh, it's killing me. Final thoughts. I did enjoy, as a Blaney fan, I will say I did really enjoy the end of stage 2. The Penske teammates are historically terrible teammates. At one point in stage 1, Blaney backed up the line to let them into pit, and then when they pitted, they left him, and when Blaney asked them to drag back, they said they didn't want to because that's just who they are. They're terrible people. They don't work together as well as the Chevy teams do. And so there was I've been seeing this for years as a Blaney fan, like basically his teammates just kind of throwing on the bird and being like, good luck. So seeing him basically push Cindric out of the way to win the second stage was very satisfying and very entertaining. That honestly was probably my favorite.
What did he say over the radio when they?
Oh yeah, so it was right after the stage 1 where Blaney's basically yelling at him on the radio to drag to keep them together. And the very next stage, Fidoa comes across Blaney's radio and says, "Hey, the 2-1's up," and Blaney's response was, "Ha!" And that was it. That was it. And he never let him up.
They're not like the most close, loving teammates ever. There's not a lot of love between them. I'm not saying they hate each other, but mid race,
yeah. Well, it's
tension there.
The 2 and the 22 have both shown how selfish they are.
Yeah.
Which at the end of the race, I'm all for. Please, I hate team orders at the end of super speedway races. I want to see everyone going for it, but
even at the end of 2022 Daytona, when Cindric won.
Yeah, just run him into the wall. But like this whole like we can't work together in stage 1 thing just shows how selfish they are. So I'm just glad Blaney's finally fighting for himself and being like, whatever.
It must be working. He won a championship, so
he won a championship.
Whatever they're doing there, they just won 2 in a row. So
yeah, so that was it. And
you expect the Fords next week?
I do. I think so. I think
part of me expects the Chevys. I don't know. Like I just don't expect any fall off there. I just think they're great.
I'm just hoping we get a race and not a parking lot again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for Ross, put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, in case there's any confusion here, I'm rooting for Ross and then nod to the 77, who is my dark horse future star candidate. That's why I have the hat. But I'll be rooting for Ross, just like I was at the end of the last race. And
nice.
I'm excited for the race. Do we even want to talk about, like, in general, maybe we should just talk about this quick, is like there's a little bit of a disappointment about the next gen and the obviously this race, there's issues that involve the next gen. Essentially, that's what it comes down to. Are we worried about the rest of the season?
Well, I think where I get really frustrated, and it's funny because this was basically 2 hours of conversation on I-95 yesterday.
Exactly.
But where I get really frustrated is when you look at the situation for what it is. Remove all your opinions, remove everything else. This car is phenomenal in intermediates. It sucks everywhere else.
Yeah.
And I think what's so frustrating is we are on the 3rd year of this, and it feels like we've either done nothing in the cases of the road courses and the super speedways, or we've done band-aids with the short tracks where it's like, oh, let's just put another splitter on the car. Oh, wow, it didn't work, and in the back of my head, I can't help but go back to an interview with Kevin Harvick in 2021. And he told Dale in 2021, before anybody had seen a next-gen race, before we had seen what it was going to do, he brought up all these concerns he had with the design of the car. And my gosh, if they are not still dead freaking on to the frustration that we're seeing with this car. And so it's like, I got kind of re-upset, I guess, in the car ride when we were talking about it, because I'm like, okay, here's your new plan. Fire whoever is running the competition at NASCAR. Whoever your director of competition is, what I think is Ben Kennedy, so I'm really sorry, fire him. Hire Kevin Harvick, Dale Jr. I don't care what their salaries are. Put them in charge. Give it 3 weeks, and I guarantee you it's fixed.
Now, we decided we like the
ran.
parts cars, right? We like Xfinity. We like the fact that like there's one manufacturer. We don't mind that format. I like the look of these cars. I like a lot about.
Yep, and I think the single source part thing is needed. Like, so I'm 100% in on that.
Yeah, that's not the problem. We don't want to go back, but we do want to fix this car. And I know for me, I'm not so convinced that they did fix it, because it's like...
Yeah.
And, here's another thing, the illusion of good racing. Sometimes I wonder with intermediates, I mean, I know the racing is pretty good, but there's still a lot of aero blocking there too.
Oh, there is. It's crazy.
Only good racing if you can ride multiple lines. You have to do slide jobs because like if you get in their wake, you're going to get tight. You're not going to turn. If you can use a different lane, then maybe you can be competitive. And it's a fun racing product, and I don't mind it in the same way that like if it's not ideal, at least it makes for interesting racing. But I think it could be even better because I think there's still issues there even. So
if we have less drag and more motor at every single track, it's not going to hurt it.
Yeah.
Like there's no track on the circuit that you're going to do that and be like, oh, that sucks. So because I know they want to stick with one motor, which they totally can.
Yeah, I think so. Just give it a little more horsepower.
Just give it a little more, or literally pull the plate. All they got to do is pull the plate, and we're at 850.
Oh, there you go.
That's it. Like we don't even have to design a new motor. We just pull the plate that's in it and give it 850. Pull some drag off still, the strakes, the spoiler, whatever. And yeah, I'm hoping, man. I'm like a little bit optimistic, but it's just, I mean, like we were talking about going to Bristol this year, and I'm not buying any ticket until I see something change because it kind of sucks right now, So
yeah,
which is a shame, especially when Xfinity is literally good everywhere.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Atlanta is at least 1 week off of worrying about anything to do with the next gen. We just watched it happen in Daytona. We had our eyes open to the degree of the problem there with the racing product for Cup. I don't know. I'm not thinking about it too much. At the end of the day, it is what it is, and the best guys are still going to be the best, I think, at the end of this whole thing.
For sure.
So,
oh, yeah. At the end of the season, there's no surprises who's at the top of the board.
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone that's there pretty much deserves it. Like, okay, so you win a plate race, like Ricky Stenhouse. If you're not actually a top 5 guy, you're not going to get into you're not going to get into the Final Four.
No,
it's not going to happen.
Not at all.
So, whether or not you love it, I think there's enough. It's going to be okay. So I'm mildly... I'm happy that the race. I'm happy that NASCAR's back. Despite all of this, I'm happy that NASCAR's back.
And we got 410 sprint cars. We got modifieds. I know Mitch is a big modified guy or late model guy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see them. But yeah, it is.
Any final thoughts? Do we even want to talk about trucks and ARCA? It was a daycare.
It was a daycare, and honestly, I think in our part 2 of the podcast, we'll probably hit a little bit of that with Mitch, just because Mitch was there. But yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
It's you can literally just say daycare, and I'm pretty much covered because that's kind of where we're at.
That's a perfect preview for you. You guys can talk about it. You guys can have that.
The daycare. Yeah. Any final thoughts for you?
None other than I'm happy I went. Daytona was cool. Do I want to go back? No,
I feel like it was a once and done for me.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to see, at least it doesn't even matter. Like when you even sat in the middle, it was still hard to see. We lucked out in the middle for the Xfinity race because we had a big screen in front of us.
Yeah,
bigger than the other ones on the sides. So like, yeah, we were closer to the action, and it would have been cool if we could have watched a great finish. It might have been worth it, but in both cases, we didn't really get that, and it was cool. It was worth it. I'm so glad I did it. And I'm just happy NASCAR's back. That's really all there is to it. So
I like it.
It's exciting.
Good parlay there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we will fast forward to part 2. So, hi, Mitch.
Hi, Mitch. And goodbye to the people. Nolan out.
Hey, everybody. I'm back here in the wonderful state of Pennsylvania. We just got back from Daytona with Alex and Nolan, and it was an adventurous one. Alex, don't you say it was pretty adventurous?
It was definitely adventurous. I thought the trip entirely, and then I come home and there's this white stuff on the ground, in
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
what's up with that? What's up with the white stuff?
I specifically remember not requesting an order, so I don't know why it's here. I am not a snow fan. I want to go back to the warm.
I can't believe it's still around. I mean, I know they had a snowstorm up here while we were gone. I think on Saturday while we were getting washed out. So.
well, it was raining endlessly in Daytona. Apparently, it was snowing here too.
And did we come to the conclusion that I'm the curse for rain? Is that the conclusion?
I think
this weekend.
Well, so the only variable helping me is the fact that the Southern 500 weekend was like 95 and blue skies.
Yeah.
So other than that, yeah, exactly. See, because otherwise I could be the curse, but that's the one variable that is helping me.
Yeah. Hey, it's all good. We'll break the streak here for the Coke 600. We're not going to have any rain that week. I feel pretty good about that weekend.
Come on now.
So we're gonna bring good vibes to that because it's a fun weekend and it's usually hot. And if it does rain, it's only going to be for 30 minutes, not for 3 days. So
that's the way it should be. I like hot. I like 95 degrees and driver appearances and good racing and the 12-car winning again.
Yep, there we go. 12-car victory lane.
I'm just going to name it and claim it right now. It's happening. It's totally happening.
Yeah.
So I guess
I can see it happening.
Yeah. So I guess really the first thing for us, we kicked off the duel night at Big Al's.
Yeah, we did. So we got down. Well, we got to Big Al's around 8 o'clock. It felt like 8-ish.
Something around that. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and the drive down was pretty good. I would say. I mean, we left around 9 o'clock, which I think was perfectly fine for what we had planned for the day.
Yeah.
The only thing that we might have missed out was the go karts, the track house. But Cook 600 week would be better anyways because the drivers will probably be there. So,
that's true.
But yeah, so the trip down was good, and Big Al's was we got there, and I know I've been there before. From when I lived down there, Big Al's, I've been there a few times. It gets rowdy on the weekends, and it was pretty rowdy there for the duels.
It was a fun level. We made a couple new friends there, and I mean the one right out of the gate just gave Corey LaJoy crap, and I was like, oh my dude.
I thought David was there. I thought that was David or something, or Kenny. I was like, what the heck? I was like, right from the get-go, I get excited because Corey is up front, leads one lap.
Right.
And then, he gets shuffled. And
then he gets stuck in the middle.
He gets stuck in the middle. Or was it before? He says, Virgil said that comment, I think, before it happened. I can't remember.
That's true.
If it was
I think
before
it was.
or after. But it happened twice.
Yep. He's like, oh, there's just one lap. All right. Well, down it goes. Yeah, that was
cool,
funny.
Though. It was cool to meet everybody there, and I think the camaraderie. I was just set off the weekend pretty good. I was like, man, I miss this place, and
I know that's gonna have to be on our
good.
list every time we go down now because like it's the environment was really fun. Like even the server and the staff and everything was like super fun.
Oh yeah, yep. That's fun. I'll have to take you to Saeed's so you can get that full experience.
Oh yeah, got to complete our DBC tour.
Yep, and then. Boatyard Eats is pretty cool too when they have live music. I think that's a place you and David and everybody would like because just the live music atmosphere and you guys like live music and whatnot.
That's true. And now we have a friend that's a musician down there, so we can text him and be like, "Hey, you playing anywhere?"
Right. Virgil might be playing at Boatyard Eats. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I'd definitely go and support. But it's really cool just to have fans to come talk with at the bar, just to watch with because. I go to Pennsylvania to watch a race sometimes in a bar, and I don't really meet race fans.
No.
They're like not there at all.
And down there, they're
like,
everywhere.
They're everywhere. And I mean, even if it wasn't dual night, I'm sure there was somebody there. But there was about what would we say about 10 people watching the race there.
It felt like
Thursday
it,
night?
yeah, because they were all pretty good. Now there was one TV that had the race on, but
I know. Well, I think they had it on the other side because other people on the other side were watching. I was like, I didn't think they were, but then the person with the Ricky Stenhouse hat was yelling something. I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
It was cool, man. Fun. I thought the food was pretty good. The pizza, man. I'll shout out to that pizza. That pizza was good.
Dude, the wings too were fantastic. Like it was 10 out of 10, man.
Yeah. Now, if I guess the wings are good, and if you like pizza that doesn't have a lot of sauce on it, big cheese guy here. Big Al's is the way to go. And they'll start feeding you like random mixed drinks without charging you. So that was odd.
That was so funny. The guy kept messing up other people's orders, and then he would just hand the drink to Mitch.
Yeah, I think I had some kind of wine, and I don't even know what
Pico
it
de
was.
Graggio.
Pico de Graggio, and it was strong. Oh my gosh! And then he gave me some pineapple mixed drink, and I was like, Alex, I think we need to go.
This is it. This is the limit right here. We gotta go. Gotta go.
This is the limit, but it was good, man. So Big House kicked it off pretty well, and then slept good at a Hampton Inn, and then I think that's where we stayed.
What one of the affiliates? I don't remember. I think
Yeah, they're all affiliates at this point. Everybody owns everybody.
Yeah.
But we got to the truck race, or we got to the Daytona track pretty good time. We saw every single car we saw. We saw the trucks practice or finish qualifying, and then we saw I think Xfinity practice, and then Cup practice, and we saw a truck race. So it's good that we got there at that time. I think we planned it out well, and we felt rested to part it up into two,
right,
going down. And of course, we got ourselves some Zaxby's and whatnot, which is not around in Pennsylvania. The only thing we didn't get was cookout the whole time. That's one thing I totally didn't think about.
That's true. And I honestly thought about it because we stopped at Buc-ee's on the way back, and there was a cookout on the exit before. And I was like,
oh, there was?
Yeah, I saw a sign.
Know.
I know I was afraid to verbalize it.
I forgot about it. I was sitting there. I forgot about cookout. So it's all good though. We'll have plenty of times to have cookouts. So no worries there.
Sorry, Buc-ee's came in clutch with the brisket sandwich.
It did.
On point.
It was good. I had two of them, and
I know I should have gotten two. Yeah, they were worth it.
Well, I'll tell you this: the slice was better than the chopped. So the sliced brisket sandwiches were better than the chopped. I think the meat was just better the way it was produced. But I think it's the same meat.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah. I got the sliced and I really liked it. So it does need cheese though. It definitely needs cheese, and it would be like
cheese on that.
Maybe a little coleslaw. I'm undecided. I'm
not a coleslaw guy, but
at least
sure
cheese.
It tastes good.
At least cheese.
Pack the cheese on. I'm a moomaw. Come on.
Come on now. But yeah, we had all the races, and we were at the speedway. I mean, we won't skip over it, but we left the speedway at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
on technically Saturday morning, Friday night. So we got a full day of racing at Daytona.
Yeah, so we literally sat there. We got there at 3 and watched literally everything until 2 in the morning. Man, it gets cold at night.
Oh my gosh, it does.
I was wearing shorts and slides. I was not prepared.
And frigid.
At all. It was frigid. But I was just hoping that we could just forget about cold for a weekend. But unfortunately, it follows us. So it's just normal. It's February. It's going to be cold at night anywhere you go in America, unless it's Texas or New Mexico, maybe. I don't. Or
Miami, yeah.
Miami, yeah. But still good weather on Friday. Let's get into the truck race. So the trucks, man, I thought they put on a great show. I really felt that from drop of the green flag, they were competitive, aggressive, maybe inexperienced in some ways.
For sure.
We saw a lot of wrecks, man. From lap 4, from lap 12.
I was gonna say it didn't take
21.
long to get going.
Yeah, it was consistently chaos, and that's what ended the season last year. And then we kicked off right where we left off in the truck. So, why do you think it was the way that was?
I do think they have one of the hardest driving vehicles. It felt like the trucks were just super squirrely all the time. Oddly enough, I feel like the Cup cars are the easiest driving cars right now as far as super speedway racing goes. And of course they're your most experienced drivers, but they were definitely hard to handle. I mean, you saw like bumps, pushes, everything. I mean, you'd see them getting squirrely, but it honestly provided a high level of entertainment because it felt like you were on such edge all the time. So I kind of liked it. I mean, there was moments where it was like, all right, guys, can we just complete a lap?
There were some random self spins.
Oh my gosh, which was super weird.
Yep, we're at Daytona, and it's not even the tribal. They're just all literally. Well, what was it? Keith McGee entering the tribal. Just spun himself, turned right. Some break maybe.
It looked intentional. It was weird. I don't know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Something broke. Let's go with that.
Let's just say something broke. It didn't look like a tire, but something must have broke.
It was weird. It was so weird.
It was, but you know what? I liked how they all raced hard from the get-go, and I think that was the coolest thing about the truck race. From the first lap, they were racing hard, which made it intense. And then for me, Corey LaJoie was in it, so I was on edge the whole time. I was enjoying every single lap. He was aggressive. He was getting blocked by Sauter. Almost lost my crap when I saw that.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter is still Johnny Sauter. In case anybody was wondering, nothing has changed.
Is he full time in the 45?
No,
or is that just
it was. I think he's doing just a couple.
Because I'm like, really? Do we have to have another year of Johnny Sauter?
We don't need it. Nobody needs it. Nobody asked for it.
We don't need it, man.
Yeah.
It just, and you know, I get why he was blocking, but I just feel like Corey kept getting blocked, and I was just getting really annoyed by that. So I realized after the Johnny Sauter block, Corey on the radio was like, "Okay, I'm done being nice." And from there on out, he pushed the crap out of everybody. So if everybody's wondering why Corey did not lift whenever someone was in front of him, because he was sick and tired of getting blocked.
Oh yeah,
and I would be too. So he was having fun. I think he was enjoying himself doing, pushing people to the front and going out, taking the lead and losing the lead and getting it back. And at one point we had Spire trucks like 1, 2, 3, and I was just like, all right, this was a good move.
We out here.
We got some quality out here. Kind of.
I don't know. I'm telling you, man, the Spire prediction is looking more and more solid. I mean, it was a decent week for them.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on that prediction. And, I'm just saying, like, I don't want to get my hopes up too high, so I don't want to get crushed, right? But I think they are heading in the right direction. And Corey just seems more confident this year. And in that truck race, I thought he looked really good. And there was other trucks too. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Long ago.
The big one I remember was the one where I got really mad at Ben Rhodes, and then I gave him grace because I realized that he was like just trying to keep it under control, but he blew a tire because when his that
wasn't his fault. Yeah,
his park it in front of the field in turn 3, and I was like, "What an idiot!" And then I was like, "Oh, never mind. He blew a tire. Okay, we're good."
Well, he blew a tire because somebody hit Anchorham into him.
Yeah,
while they were. It was like. I forget who hit him.
Brad
there was
Keselowski.
No chill. Sorry, David.
Sorry, that was every other race. My bad.
That was every other race. Yeah, but I just give him props to that, and to just be racing hard and putting on a good show for the fans. And we did have a rain delay during that race, and I was like, "This is just stupid."
I know. I'm like, please, just stop.
Think about it, every race we had some kind of rain or some kind of delay or reschedule because of it, which is
I'd actually forgotten that until you said that, and then I remember because I have a video clip of it raining, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
There you go for the B-roll.
Jeez, how is this a thing? How is this a thing?
I'm blessed though. It was a good trip either way. So let's talk about the end of that race.
Yeah,
that just seemed very, very truck worthy. Every year, it's always something. It's just every year. I don't think you can hide it. And honestly, they were all racing hard. And I think Raja, this was the last, they were on the last lap, correct? I think it was a white flag.
Yeah.
So Rajay, he, I guess he hit Corey. He hit Corey. And then he felt that Corey hit him. I think Corey was just trying to help him. And at first, from the fan standpoint in the stands, I really didn't see. I didn't really see what happened. I to be honest, I didn't really see if he was pushing until we had to look at the replay.
Right.
And to me right away when I saw the replay, I didn't think Corey did anything wrong, but I'm biased a little bit. I have to check my boy. But also I'm a realist too. But what did you feel at first? Like, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, it's. I mean, right out of the gate, I was like, "What is Raja doing?" Like it. I couldn't tell if it was. There was a part of it that looked intentional, and that was the part where I was like, "Man, this is really ugly." And I think, in hindsight, he was just trying to fit in a hole that wasn't there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There was about half of what was needed just to fit the truck up there. Yeah, it was just weird.
He had like a car length and a half. It felt like he had room to push up. He didn't have to go all the way up. And I don't know if he was trying to get behind Corey Heim. I don't think there was no room, so I don't know what he was thinking there. But a lot of people were saying he got tight. I could see that happening because these trucks are so aero dependent. That could happen, but I think it's ignorance to say that Corey pushed him into Corey on purpose,
Right.
or it was Corey's fault. Corey was just bumping him into the corner, but he was off of him when they entered turn 3. So, and I don't know. Did you listen to Door Bumper Clear?
I did. I actually I have like 15 minutes left on it, but I was listening on the way here.
Well, I saw Bubba's clip.
Yeah.
I saw it on X, and he was talking about what Rajay was like. At the end, they were kind of looked like Bubba was upset with him, which was cool because he's a little mentor, which is good.
And on the episode, dude, he was brutally honest. Like
He
straight
was.
up. I mean, he shared on
Because-
DVC what he said to Raja, which was basically
He
like,
did.
"Shut up,
Yeah.
stop talking." And then even so, Raja finally admitted that he was wrong. And Bubba's first thing was, "Good, send someone a message about it." Like basically, admit you were wrong and move forward. And which I love, like, because I mean, Bubba Wallace gets crap for everything, and I get kind of sick of it sometimes. And I like this because he has always been considered a role model to Raja, and this was him being a mentor. Like, which I loved it. So, praise, or not praise, but, props to Bubba. Like, I loved what he did Friday night. I thought that was him being a good mentor.
Yeah, that was a very mature thing of him to do. And the fact that Rajay was like, "Oh yeah, Corey backed me," and then he was like, "Nope, I'm at the other Corey." I'm like, now you're just making excuses.
Yeah, and it just looks worse. It just looks worse and worse as you talk. It's like, nah, come on, dude.
Bubba was doing the homework for him. Like, no, dude, man up.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a learning curve. Rajay is young. I think he's 22, 23. I don't even know if he's that old. But he's young, so I mean, people that age they're going to learn.
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing drivers could do, I know I'm a couch racer, but I think anybody in life should do, is own up to your mistakes. Don't lie about it.
Right.
If you know you did something wrong, own up to it. And I think that shows maturity, it shows growth, and just learn from it. And that's the best thing you could possibly do. And I don't think it's don't be ashamed of admitting to mistakes. I think we should flip the narrative. I think society should flip the narrative, and I think admitting to doing something wrong and learning from it is a good thing. So
yeah, no, I think so too. And I think now he got his butt chewed out enough by a mentor that it's gonna stick.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of owning up to mistakes, let's talk about ARCA.
The entertainment series.
The entertainment series, their qualifying method, Big Willie on the pole.
What a
Never
hot
even heard of
mess
this
that
guy
was.
before.
Wow, what a dumb... Whoever decided to do group qualifying for ARCA should be fired. That was like...
But the thing is, it's been like that for years.
Oh, I don't...
Like, it's always been
so
like that.
bad.
And I never understood it, but I guess you get these stories and stuff, but I'm like, I want authenticity, not chaos. And ARCA's, they're not that experienced. Like, so the fact that, like, if we have the money, we could literally buy an ARCA car and go race Daytona next year.
Right.
And you want to put one of us in a pack
That's the thing.
without any,
Like,
to qualify, it just sounds like a death wish.
It's just pure insanity. Like, and then you end up sending home people that deserve to be in the race, and you have the 48 car making the race that is not worthy to be in it. So it's like, it's just, I don't know how anyone thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, and Brad Smith. I mean, he's a hustler. I props to him for trying to make every race and like doing the grind. But I think because like Shane didn't make the race, and I know he probably had speed, but I think he just probably didn't time runs right and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't think Shane ever done this before. So I don't know. I get it. I wish we could have seen it in a way because it probably would have been crazy.
I'm sure it was. Yeah.
Craziest things to see. But once the ARCA race got started, Shane ended up getting a ride for the race, and his day was done on lap 6 because of Gustine wrecking Tony Redinger. And she had some words to say about that, right?
Oh, she was not happy, which I'm here for.
Happy.
I'm here for it. Give me the drama. Give me the good stuff. But
and I can't. Yeah, she has matured into her own identity.
Yeah,
and I didn't see it coming. And she has been getting better and better every year. I know she wrecked both races, but the way she handles herself is pretty good. I think she does a really good job with that.
Yeah. No, I think so too. And she got wrecked in ARCA for sure. So that helped because it was like none of that was her fault. And then the guy that caused the wreck went on to cause controversy at the end of the race. So it was like, all right, well, it kind of fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up winning the race, which kind of sucked. But with her, so she has like 2 million followers on Instagram, and she has big multi-billion-dollar sponsors. Like she has Raising Cane's, a $3.3 billion company. Victoria's Secret's another one, multi-billion-dollar company. Celsius. I mean, she has all the branding.
That's true.
And honestly, when she races trucks, I mean, she runs top 20 in trucks. I don't know if it's a law of attrition, but she doesn't wreck a lot of people. She's usually the one getting wrecked, but she's not the one causing them, which shows, I think, she's I think, learning to race her race. And it's just unfortunate that she got out. But that left us with a few. I mean, there was just so many wrecks. I think how many cars didn't wreck? I think there was about 8 cars left at the end of the race.
It wasn't many. It wasn't many. I mean, I feel like there was like 4 or 5 competitive cars at the end.
Yeah,
and most of them were Venturi Motorsports.
Yeah, it's true. And one of them won. But shout out to Amber Balkan for being 3 laps down and finishing top 10, P9 with a destroyed race car. My Canadian queen. She did pretty well there.
Yo, girl,
my girl. But she did really good. I was proud of her. And props to NASCAR for moving up the start time because of the rain.
Huge
making
win.
That a Friday night race instead of Monday, probably a Tuesday race. At this point.
I mean, honestly, that's what would have had to have happened. So yeah, that massive win. Honestly, I thought their scheduling all weekend was really good. I was very grateful.
They did the best they possibly could. So props to NASCAR. I'll give NASCAR as a whole. I won't give props to the people that start with the name S, but they did a good job. You can't trust the Steve.
Can't trust the Steves.
So.
Yeah, that was
obviously everybody knows. Oh, keep going.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, but the next thing was 48 hours of rain, or honestly more than 48 hours because it rained Monday morning too. But just never freaking ending.
Yeah, so about noon on Monday, and that's okay. We made up with we did Top Golf, we did bowling a little bit. We went to Chili's, got some margaritas. Now
it's true.
I timed it wrong. I didn't go see Corey make margaritas, so that's one thing I do regret. But we were in Orlando, and so honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, it's do you take the good with the bad? Like there was advantages, I think, to being there, but at the same time, it was like, you're not near anything.
No, and it was just the way the weekend was. It was hard to plan because of how sporadic it was. Because at one point, we got Xfinity qualifying in, so we were figuring we might go and actually see a race. So we were like, let's get something over here.
Right.
And let's go to the track. And then I was like, wait a minute, look at the radar.
It's going south, and it's going south quick.
Yeah.
But we did get to go to the Oyster Pub Saturday night, which was kind of cool.
We did. And that was cool. And I think that was a good spot. I definitely will go back. The seafood's really good there. I know you don't like seafood, but my seafood was really good.
Hey, my chicken was fantastic. It was like 10 out of 10. Like so I'm happy.
It looked like it was marinated pretty well.
Oh, so
Mary
good.
was a great server, so she was a waitress. She was a great waitress.
And we got to see a Freddie Kraft sighting.
Yes.
And probably some other people. We just don't know who they were.
Yeah, a lot of big wigs. Definitely. People with slick back hair with a lot of money. I was like, yep, team owner.
There's something.
Something. Investor, backer, a backer. You know, they got money.
Exactly.
But that, after all that, we that led into the tweet up on Monday morning. And that was cool to talk to Jordan Bianchi. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, really cool dude. And we ended up talking about it a little bit too with Nolan, but like Bianchi is like such a cool, relatable guy. Like he's just one of the easiest personalities in NASCAR media to talk to.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like when he first came into the sport, he was very shy. I really didn't think I think he broke out of his shell. I don't know how long he's been in the sport, but I always thought of him as reserved when he was on the teardown. I always thought he was like quiet and reserved, but now he's opened up his comfortability. He's opened up his shell, and I just think it's awesome. So he's definitely one of my favorite now.
Confidence is for sure there. For sure.
Yeah. Especially, I think what happened was after the whole Harvick. Now that I thought about it, I wanted to ask him like how uncomfortable. Like, was he scared when Harvick was like put the camera away? Remember Bristol?
Yeah, I forgot about that. I keep forgetting that was Bianchi.
He was, and I think that was the moment where he broke out of his shell. I really think that was probably the moment because if Harvick told me to stop, I'd run.
I'd be like,
I'm scared of Harvick, but he's a little intimidating.
That would be my yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll put it away.
Sounds good, sir.
Goes and takes it back out.
Yeah. Bold man. Bold man.
I loved it though. You had to do it for the media. I mean, it's a good reporter.
He was doing it for the gram.
He was. Speaking of doing it for the gram, we had our Racing Addicts podcast live, which was I thought it was pretty good. So if you guys are listening and you guys haven't checked that out, there should be an archive somewhere. I don't know if we have it saved somewhere.
I know for sure on Instagram it is actually public. Okay. Honestly, TikTok says it archived it. I cannot find it. So
I'll try to find it for you.
Yeah, we'll
Maybe
find it
we
somewhere.
can upload it to YouTube, even though if it's in vertical form, or if that's what they call
we'll
it.
find something.
We can still upload it and have it there for you guys. It was pretty fun. So everybody who tuned in for that, we appreciate it. It was really cool to interact with you guys, and we hope to do more of that.
For sure.
Some pre-race shows from just our home, and so you guys can go on chat. We can talk pre-race, talk about bets, talk about our fantasy lineup, because technically DraftKings you can still edit your fantasy until the green flag. So it would be kind of fun to have that kind of action in there.
Heck yeah. No, that was super fun. We appreciated everyone's engagement with it.
Oh yeah.
And then really like the next thing on the list that was like, this was way cooler than I think I even anticipated was the flyover. The Thunderbirds were so freaking cool. Like, oh my gosh. And close.
It was close. And I forget what noise I made in that video, but that's my nervous noise.
Whoa! I probably haven't.
That was it. I knew they were coming, but I didn't know they were coming. And when I thought they were gone, it was right around my face. I'm like, what in the world just happened? I'm going to die.
I don't think you expect.
Yep. That's exact. Yeah, that's it. It sounded beautiful. And the fact that, like, you guys have to think about it. We were in the 400 level section, way up. We were literally so high up, the birds were with us. We had a bird come out of the zone. Remember that? A bird just flew out of nowhere.
That was crazy too. Here comes the. There was the whoa. That's what it was. I forgot what you did too.
I don't remember even saying that.
But they were so low. Oh my gosh. Well, and you and I watched the video from Kevin Hamlin that Freddie Kraft posted too. Dude.
Peed my pants. It would have happened. We would have had a change of clothes.
I
was out of clothes after all the rain. I would have had to go home.
Them spotters were changing their shorts after that.
Definitely were.
Yeah, the Thunderbirds 10 out of 10. That was just insanely cool.
Oh yeah, and we got the perfect view for it because they were like right at our section.
Right there. I mean,
right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool, and which got us into the race. And I thought The Rock did a great job. I love The Rock.
Love that he stayed over.
Yep, and he embraced the sport. He's not like MGK where, oh, there's not enough fans out there, I'm gonna go home. Like, The Rock's like, we're staying. I love this place. I'm gonna embrace it. Even though he might not be a NASCAR fan, he might have been just faking it. But he either way, if he doesn't watch racing, if he does watch racing, he literally embraced the sport and took time to study. And literally when he talked about the sport, he was knowledgeable with it. So he knew what he was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He knew Denny Hamlin was a villain, which that's kind of crazy. I mean, he must have watched a Netflix series. I think that's probably what happened.
Maybe that's all it was. Yeah.
That's probably what it was. I'm going to watch this series while I'm working out.
Smart man. You got to learn.
He's a cool guy, man. It was cool to see him there.
Love his personality.
And which that led us into the race, the big Daytona 500, and the racing quality. We could talk about, like when we had that big wreck, that wreck on lap 6. I literally thought law of attrition was going to play out for this race.
Yeah, I honestly did too.
Right away. Yeah, and I was very surprised about how everything raced. And I don't know, like, and that wreck, I felt like the cars were out of control with that wreck. So I don't know if everybody was racing hard just for that moment or what.
And then that was it. Right after that moment,
it.
they just decided we're going to do pace laps for a while. But
yeah, and you can't blame them though. I mean, if it's hard to pass and the easiest way to pass is to save fuel, that's the product that we have right now, and that's what they have to do. So, not that I agree with it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's felt like we were freezing our butts off to watch people save fuel. It was a great, like, then you have to think about the event was awesome and the preserving. Like, in a way, I was like, okay, my driver won't get wrecked until the end then if the one's going to race. So, in a way, I was okay with it, but part of me was like, let's race.
Yeah.
Like, let's race hard.
That's and Nolan and I went into it, but it was, I found myself getting so frustrated because it was like, I mean, selfishly, especially for me, because it was like, all right, 3/4 of the race, nothing's happening. And then 10 laps into actually racing, my guy gets wrecked. And then, we get to the finish of the race that we don't even get to see a finish. And it was one of those, like, I'm literally standing there watching Willie B celebrate, and I'm like, what just happened?
Just got robbed.
Yeah, like, what are we just sat through 60 hours of rain for what again? I'm not... Yeah, so that was at least for me. I just wanted to let you know that was what Nolan and I discussed, and I kind of shared, just sort of what my disappointment was there.
Yeah, no, I could definitely feel that. But ironically, my two favorite drivers in Cup both finished in the top 5. So
they did. It was crazy.
They did. And I wanted, obviously Corey LaJoy got 4th. I thought, he raced really well. I think he ignored the commands of saving fuel. There was like a point in the race where he's like, I'm going to the front. I don't care about saving fuel. And then that's when he missed the pack. So when that wreck happened, I was like, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Corey has a shot. And that's literally what opened the door for him to get a top 5 there. But I was thankful to be at the event, even though they were in fuel conservation mode. I thought the whole event was very spectacular with the way the energy was. Even on a Monday, there was still some energy buzzing before the race, during the race. There was a lot of people there for a Monday, and how cold it was. There was quite a bit of people.
Turnout was phenomenal. I forgot to bring that up too, but you're right. I was blown away at how many people were there.
And I predicted 8% because I just feel like it rains out a lot, or it goes to Monday a lot. Of people kind of prepare for that. But I felt like there was about 80% there, so that was really cool.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. At least, like, honestly, 80% might have been the low number. Like, yeah, it was a very impressive amount.
And as far as the Rex goes, at least with Brad's and whatever happened there, and in the beginning of the race, and then with Alex Bowman pushing the 24, I really think it's just the way the cars are. I mean, we definitely they caused it because of if they caused it or whatnot from their pushes, but I truly believe that it's really just a racing incident. I don't think they meant to do it. It wasn't like an intentional hook or anything like that. And it's just the way these races play out, kind of like what a lot of drivers were saying. But overall, I really felt that the finish was kind of robbery, but I was happy for Willie. I think he's a very genuine human being, and just he's breaking out of his shell now, and I love how his personality is coming out. He's such a nice guy. I love how he's just like, this is freaking awesome, man. Like, he was just so like,
I know, he's so lovable
about the moment. Yeah, and he wasn't like arrogant. He's just a very like, I'm gonna go build my Legos and play my iRacing, and he's just a very, very humble guy.
Get me my big old Titanic.
Right? Yeah, he's gonna build his old Titanic. He's grown on me recently, so I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for Corey in his top 5 finish. I don't agree with Austin Cindric and his comments. I'm not friends with him either, so.
I agree with Corey LaJoy's comments. That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I watched the replay again today, and I really saw nothing that Corey did wrong. I mean, he did hit him a little bit before Ross tried to fill the gap, but you can't just put the blame on Corey. Everybody was going for it.
You're pushing at the end, man. I mean, that's 100% accurate.
And Corey's hit wasn't one that finished him. It was actually Ross's hit. Sideswiped him.
Yeah. Is what took him the rest of the way.
Yeah. Even if he went low, he was still got sideswiped. Ross was going for the hole. He literally went for it.
He did. And honestly, like I like it too, because like we talked about with Nolan, it's so hard to get runs with this car because like you can't control your own destiny. So if Ross doesn't take that moment, he's done. You know, so it's you've really backed the drivers into such a tight box where you kind of have to have this.
Yeah. And so no blame on Ross there, no blame on anybody really, not even Cindric, just hard racing.
Yeah.
And you know, I understand Cindric's upset, but that's because he hasn't done anything since the 500 of his rookie year. Was it a rookie year he did that?
Yeah, and he's under the pressure, no doubt. I'm sure. I can't imagine we're the only podcast talking about his success or lack of.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of others that are definitely touching on that. So happy for them. Happy for Willie B. Congratulations on that. Congratulations on Corey.
Did you have any issues with the way the race ended from an officiating standpoint?
I think because NASCAR's called those kind of races a lot in the past, so I didn't argue it because Corey was going to run out of fuel if they had a green light checker. So bias, yeah, I was okay with it. But if let's say you took Corey and out of the element there, I think we deserve to see a good finish. I think we deserve to see a green flag finish. But the rules are the rules, and you know, if Ross would have made that move before the tri-oval, would have been a different story.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, it was so close, and we're human, and you know that you see the wreck, you hit the button. There's going to be delayed reaction. We're human. We're not AI. We're not. At least it's not controlled by AI yet.
Not yet.
So, yeah. I mean, part of me is frustrated we didn't get a see green flag finish because we were there, but part of me is like, this is the way it's always been, and we had this rule for the last few years now, and I made peace with it.
Yep. And honestly, I'm 100% with you. I thought. It totally sucked, but it was nothing at NASCAR's fault. I think when the two came back across the track, you have to throw the yellow. And honestly, I think their hope was because they were spinning down, I think they were hoping they wouldn't have to. That the cars would just clear themselves and you could let it go. But I watched the replay again, and it's when the two starts coming back up the track that the button gets hit. So it's like...
Yeah.
They made the right call, and it just sucks. But like, there's no one I saw at fault on that.
No, and I think that's what the 100% logic was probably with waiting for the two to stay low. But unfortunately, it's just the way physics go. So.
Yeah, you'll have this in big time auto racing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I guess that leads us into the last race of the weekend, the Xfinity race, and I thought I was so cold, man. I was at that point. I think I had frostbite.
We were frigid. I don't think people understand how cold it was because I had a friend text me and they were like, "Man, why did everyone leave for the Xfinity race?" And I'm like, "Because it is 44 freaking degrees out here. Like it is cold, bro."
And I honestly think I had frostbite, dude, because. Like a part of it, because when we got back to the hotel, my whole like torso was like frozen. Like it hurt to put pressure on it. And then when I got a shower, before I got a shower, there were these red dots, and I was like, "Why am I in pain?" And I was like, "I'm freezing. I'm literally freezing inside. Like I'm dying." There's
something about the humidity in the air. The coldness is that much more effective, or something. Like there's because it has particles in the air to get colder or something, but because obviously the air is a little more humid down in Florida, so
very much so. Yeah, I was very it caught me off guard. I would have brought my winter jacket out because it was warm when we walked to the race. I was like, we're gonna have a nice warm day.
I know. And when that sun went down, bro, it was done.
It was
like that was it.
Like, there goes my soul.
So we got a Friday afternoon and evening that was nice, and we got a Monday afternoon that was nice. So we managed to get maybe one full day of good weather in the 6 days that we were in Florida.
Yeah, and people at work were like, "Oh, it looks like you got sun." I said, "What sun?" It was out for 4 hours.
Maybe behind the clouds.
Yeah, they said I looked tanner. I was like, "Well, that's funny. Wait until summer hits."
Yeah, that was just a flat screen TV in the hotel room.
That's all that was, or the track TV at that rate.
Yeah, it's also true. The
overall,
Xfinity. Xfinity.
Yeah. It was it wasn't bad. I think they were really fast because of the cold temps and whatnot, but it sucked to see Deegan out again in the beginning. That really pissed me off. I don't even know what happened there, but probably didn't check up in time or something. It didn't look good. But the cars, I mean, I thought they raced well. They were faster than the Cup cars, which was hilarious.
They were.
Again. So
they were.
That's pretty sad, guys. If you're a guy named Steve and you work for NASCAR, Xfinity cars should not be faster than the Cup cars. And I'm not saying slow the Xfinity cars down.
Speed up the Cup cars.
Opposite.
Yeah.
Speed up the Cup cars. So.
And it's just like you could build your own runs, you could create your own destiny, you could slip into the middle, and like it was like everything I felt like we were frustrated with Monday afternoon. Monday night it was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, 100%. It was literally the exact opposite. And you know, Austin Hill wins again. No matter if he got Rick, he got
copy
wrecked.
paste.
I mean, I get it. He's in the playoffs now. He's going to be successsul. And honestly, what the worst part about it was that, you know, Sheldon Creed finished second, and they have such a feud. I was really hoping Sheldon Creed would come victory, just to be like, ha, I made the right decision. And now RCR's like, look who's better now, and it's just like.
It would have been even better if they were like side by side bumping to the finish. Like how epic would that have been?
Right, or if they both wrecked each other and didn't finish the race.
Oh man,
what would have happened?
Hey, Allgaier was coming. I would have taken it.
That man, I think that guy got wrecked 3 times.
Which one? All of them?
Allgaier.
Yeah. Oh
well,
yeah.
I mean Allgaier. I mean a lot of people wrecked a lot.
Yeah, him for sure.
Like the only person I didn't wreck was Natalie Decker.
Honestly, you're right, which is crazy.
7 laps led in the top 20.
Yeah.
Best Xfinity finish.
I think she finished 18th, I'm pretty sure.
And she's in the history books now. Did you know that?
Yeah.
She's in the history books.
Which is nuts.
I'm like, okay, Deegan, please come out to Atlanta and lead 20 laps so we can change
Just do something. Just do something.
Please.
Oh, my gosh.
Sit on the pole or something.
Yeah, it was,
I mean...
It was good. I thought Xfinity was great. And that was masked by the fact that I was really cold and cranky and I wanted to get somewhere warm, and I still thought it was a great race, which tells me that it was really, truly a great race.
Yeah, I agree. It was a good race, and if it wasn't for the cold, it would have been more enjoyable. But I was happy to see Ryan Truex race in person, because I don't know how many times I'm going to see that in my lifetime anymore.
Well, that's true.
So
we have Dover,
like
hopefully.
Atlanta. Well, yeah, Dover. I think I'm going to do Dover if the weather's good. But yeah, so that was cool. I thought the Xfinity race was good, and it was just a really good weekend. So I really appreciate the idea of us going down and allowing you to come down, or allowing you to invite me to come down to the race. I thought that. I mean, I really do appreciate that. It was a memorable weekend for sure.
Glad you enjoyed it. I feel like we checked one off the bucket list. You know,
we did. Yeah, it was something I've always wanted to go to. And my coworker today, because he's like, "Oh, you're going with me next year, right?" I said, "I can't answer that. I can't answer that right now." I said, "To be honest, dude," I was like, "I don't know. I would do it again, but part of me is just so exhausted from the rain. Yeah. I don't really want to think about it. I just don't know. I mean, if I would do it again, I'd probably stay the whole week so I have some warm days without rain.
Right. Like you'd have to almost balance it out, or
I'd go to New Smyrna. I would make the whole week out of it. For sure. Like I would go see late models and NASCAR World Tour mods, high limits. Like I would do it all.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because we had high limits Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, it would cost me triple. It would cost me triple to do it probably, but it'd be worth it if one of these years. I think it'll happen down the road, but right now I'm perfectly satisfied from this past weekend as far as what we saw, the experience, and how everything kind of played out was really cool.
Yeah, I agree. And it was cool the whole drive home we were running into Daytona 500 people. Like I think every stop until we got to Baltimore, when we would get out of the car, there was somebody wearing NASCAR merch or Daytona 500 merch.
And they would approach us.
Yeah.
We weren't approaching them. They were approaching us because we would just be casually talking about the finish of the race in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Every time.
And we got a guy with a very high list of opinions.
boomer.
Yeah.
Boomer.
He's straight up, straight up.
The only thing he didn't complain about was the numbers. And
That's true.
He left that for me.
You had us covered enough on that. We didn't even need anyone else.
Oh my
man.
goodness.
Thank you, number 12
But-
hoodie, for attracting all the people.
Yeah, because obviously no one knew who Reckless Society was. It's Deegan's brand. No one knew what that was.
That's true.
But yeah, it was cool. Drive back was pretty good. It was long, but it was a good drive back. I felt like it was safe and everything. So your Ford Flex did a really good job.
Yeah,
Dodge did a
buddy.
really good
Love that
job.
car.
So
The Flexi
only thing
delivered.
I hated was going through DC.
Oh.
We don't like going through DC. That's not a good place to go through.
Thank you, Apple Maps, for taking us the craziest route possible.
Yeah,
That's all
I
I'll
think our
say.
favorite way is to. I think if anybody's listening, if you're coming from the north, I think what you guys should do is divide it up and stop at Charlotte halfway
Yep.
and enjoy the race features in Charlotte, and then go to Florida the next day, and then coming back, go to Charlotte,
Yeah,
enjoy the race
exactly.
features again, and then go back to your house because 95 was it's good until you hit Upper Virginia. And
Yeah,
I'm
then it's
sick of
just
it.
obnoxious. Yeah, and it's
obnoxious.
like, yeah. It's windy
So-
and full of cars. So
Yeah.
it's not fun. Before we wrap up, looking ahead to Atlanta, what are you looking for this weekend? What do you think you're going to see this weekend?
Oh man, I love this race. It's a fun race, even with the package. I think it's exciting with what the product we have there, and I know you were testing on some things. I'm sure. Did you talk about it a little bit with Nolan?
Honestly, not much. We really
not
didn't hit
much.
Atlanta much about. You mean you're thinking like what I think the future of Atlanta is going to look like?
Yeah, like you told me in the car, but I didn't know if you talked about it here yet. But I honestly think this race is still going to be pack racing. I really do believe that it's still going to be somewhat kind of like. I mean, it's going to be more strategic than Daytona and Talladega, but I do think it's going to be fast, and
Yep.
we're going to see these cars on edge because I
Yep.
feel like I don't know why. I just feel like they're more out of control here than any other track.
Oh, way more. I think this is supreme super speedway racing right now.
I agree.
Honestly, with
I
this
agree.
car, because I think you put so much in the hand of the drivers, and they really don't even have the ability to save fuel here.
No, they
because
don't.
it's so tight.
Yeah, it's going to be intense. I think we're going to see a lot of wrecks in the Cup race. It's not going. I mean, you had one big one at the end, but I think you're going to see a lot of like people just out front, and then they just lose it.
Yeah,
Like they're just going to lose it because of either I don't know what will happen. I'm a couch racer, man. Like something's going to happen. You know?
I love it, and we've talked about it before, but I think what's crazy is going to see the long-term transition of that track, because I think in another 4 years or so, it's a completely different style of racing, which is really cool.
I agree.
Like
And
like
the more you talk
1998
about-
Daytona is kind of what
Yeah.
I'm feeling.
Okay, so you could kind of the bottom group's going to be probably dominant again. I would hope. Maybe not. I don't know.
Or even that
Um,
like dive low, wash mid, exit high, kind of like.
Yeah.
But like what I do like about it is handling is going to be supreme, and I think it's going to put so much in the hands of the drivers, which is always my favorite thing. I want to see the drivers. I appreciate that these engineers are really smart and they're good at what they do, and I value that. But I go to the races to see Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott. I don't go to see the lead technician for 2311 Racing. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't
Yeah.
So that's what I get excited about. I want to see the best drivers perform the best.
Yeah, I want to see these cars hard to handle. I want to see cars getting loose, getting sideways a little bit, close calls. Not that we want to see anybody wreck, but we want excitement.
Yeah,
we want
absolutely.
edge factor. So, yeah, I believe we're going to get that, and I know there's a lot of pressure on Corey, so I really hope it doesn't get to him too much. I'm not sure. I mean, pressure for Corey. I don't know. He's getting better with handling that. So I just
He is
hope,
doing better. I think so.
Yeah, but I just know, like, I hope he doesn't think this is it, because I really think this team, I think they can run top 15, top 10 at other tracks, normal tracks that aren't super speedways. So I hope he doesn't go in here thinking he needs to win. Let's just be smart.
Right.
Get to the end. Let's get some stage points. Let's get some stage points
And just run a good, smart race.
Run a good smart race. Get a top 10. Let's keep just points race. Let's points race. And if you have a shot to win, go for it. But don't do anything stupid. Don't have someone's stupidity ruin your race. Be self-aware.
Sure.
I think I'm more nervous than him at this point. So.
Yeah, maybe so. Hey, I don't know if it makes it better or worse, but Freddie Kraft picked him on DVC to win.
Yeah, that's more pressure. So there we go.
There it is. Pile it on, baby.
There's the pressure. There's the pressure. Did Dale pick him? Did Dale Jr. pick him? Actually, no, he didn't talk about it.
I don't think he did yet. No. So
no, I'm sure he's going to. Yep,
we'll see.
He's going to.
No, I'm excited. And for the reference, I picked Keselowski and Blaney, mostly Keselowski. I did pick Keselowski to wreck 2 cars this weekend, or wreck 2 times this weekend, cause 2 wrecks this weekend, and win the race.
Definitely happen. I can definitely see that happening. But honestly, I want Corey to win. I think he has a good shot. But I think a Hendrick car is going to win. I think they have momentum. I wouldn't be surprised if William Byron does it again because he won this race last year. I think. Didn't he win this race last year?
He
did, and he got lucky.
Yep, just like he did Monday.
He didn't do anything. I mean, he was like, I don't know. He didn't lead any of the laps.
No,
until like the last 4.
That's literally all he led.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's smart, man.
I love him, but he is still the luckiest driver in NASCAR, for sure.
It's not Justin Haley anymore. It's now William Byron.
It's now William Byron. Yeah, he's got enough of them. So. Anywho, man, I appreciate you jumping on, man. It was good to catch up a little bit with you, and we're going to try to get back to like normal recording times next week. So, guys, we had a full plan worked up for doing a post-race podcast, and thank you, Rain, because it screwed that up. We came up with an alternative plan, and then it rained more, and then screwed up that alternative plan. So we kind of just said, the heck with it. We're going home, and we're just going to figure out when to do it. So today was our Hail Mary. That's why we got this little fun 2-parter. So yeah.
And I had to work today. I thought about calling off, but I was like, save those days for Charlotte. So we'll
good call.
We'll definitely
when it's warm and 90.
Yeah, warm and windy. No R words there. We're gonna be toasty. So
that's the plan. So anywho, you guys have a great week. Atlanta's gonna be fun. Looking forward to it. Got a triple header, and we shall see you all next week.
Yep. Enjoy, guys.
Holla!